Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Jersey Oddcast with Joseph F. Berenato, Gabriel J. Donio, and me, Gina Rullo. Your local news, a little sideways, and we've got a full one today. We're talking about everything from New Jersey banning specific flora to a Little League opening day getting pushed back to cleanup days and the latest scam making the rounds. So, yeah, a little bit of everything going on right now. But the big conversation today is that we're sitting down with Chief Marc Rigberg and Assistant Secretary / Assistant Treasurer Anthony Sirolli from the Winslow Township Fire Department. And it's a great conversation, and you're going to want to stick around for it. So, we're going to get into what it really takes to make a modern fire department, how they balance career staff and volunteers, what call volume looks like, and how they're bringing in new members. It's one of those conversations where you realize pretty quickly there's a lot more going on behind the scenes than most people think. We also have your community calendar, the Odd Poll, the Oddcast Odd Fact, with some really cool Jersey history behind it, and we'll wrap it up with the Oddcast Forecast. So stick with us. We're right here with more chaos, commentary, community, because someone's got to do it. Joe, talk to me about smelly trees.
Yeah, it's not just smelly trees. It's quite a bit, actually. According to reports, the state of New Jersey is banning dozens of invasive plants that are damaging ecosystems, crowding out native species, and generally creating a nuisance. Under S 1029, signed by former Governor Phil Murphy before he left office in January, the state will begin phasing out 30 harmful non native plants. The list, according to reports, includes trees, vines, and shrubs commonly found in neighborhoods, parks, and forests, including English ivy, which destroys buildings and trees, running bamboo, which is virtually impossible to stop once it starts, the tree of heaven, which is the natural habitat of the spotted lanternfly, and the Bradford pear tree, which smells awful. I believe it smells like dying fish.
It's awful.
Now,
Yeah,
like
it's
other
not good.
Hammonton, you may recall, planted Bradford pears, if I'm not mistaken, along Bellevue a number of years back. And as Gabe's mother put it, boy, we got sold a bill of goods on those.
Yeah, Horton Street in spring when those trees were in bloom. Blech.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
and they had a tendency to split a lot. It was a good intention. It was an ornamental tree. It had flowering qualities to
Yeah,
it, but it
it
had its
looked nice, but
problems.
yeah, but it was like the back bay at low tide. Yeah, it was
Right.
awful.
Yeah.
Now, this law, which has been spurred by public comments about these plants, such as this, doesn't require existing plants to be removed, but the new rules are designed to stop the further spread. Starting 13 months after the law was signed, according to reports, importing or propagating the listed plants without a waiver will become illegal. And in 4 years, or 2030, the restrictions will expand to ban their sale, distribution, or export, including seeds. According to lawmakers and experts, invasive plants aggressively compete with native species for space, sunlight, and nutrients, which reduces biodiversity and degrades habitats relied on by birds, insects, and other wildlife. And the full list is available online.
Yeah. Please go give it a look and don't plant any more Bradford pear trees. We are going to bounce over to what's happening with the Little League.
The Hammonton Little League canceled their opening day ceremony because of inclement weather. So because of that, the nice thing is they're going to do some things at the end of the season that they normally would do with opening day, and that's basically like a basket raffle and some other festivities. They want to have everyone enjoy it. So that would have been this past weekend, but unfortunately, with temperatures in the 50s and steady rain, they decided to cancel it.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be in early June. So that is something to look forward to and to keep up to date.
Yeah.
So maybe you can be scouting out new homes while you're attending a Little League game if you're coming into the area, and you could be settled in for next Little League season if you call Phil Carr at Crowley & Carr Real Estate.
If you're looking to buy or sell your home or commercial property in South Jersey, call Phil Carr, owner of Crowley & Carr Real Estate. Crowley & Carr is the best place in town to find the best place in town. Call them at 609-561-0505 or go to Facebook or Instagram.
Joe, the town of Hammonton is doing some hiring.
The town of Hammonton is hiring for a full-time public works laborer / mechanic helper, and this will work Under the direction of the Department of Public Works Superintendent, the role requires the operation of various equipment, specialized tools, and machinery, as well as tasks involving lifting and digging. Responsibilities include, but are not limited to, ability to work closely with a mechanic involved in performing varied types of automotive work in the maintenance and repair of the municipal vehicle fleet, and mechanized equipment. Responsibilities also include physical labor in various weather conditions, road maintenance, buildings and grounds, grass cutting, snow plowing, seasonal leaf removal, and so forth. Qualified candidates must possess a high school diploma or GED, a valid NJ driver's license, and the ability to safely operate various power tools and equipment, including riding mowers and chainsaws. Possession of or the ability to obtain a CDL license is a plus, but not mandatory. The annual salary for the 40-hour workweek position is $41,600, and that includes single coverage benefits, medical, dental, vision, participation in the state pension plan, paid time off, and opportunities for overtime. Work hours are Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. Interested candidates should email a cover letter, resume, and complete an employment application located at townofhammonton.org/employment to townclerk@townofhammonton.org, or they can apply in person at Hammonton Town Hall, 3rd floor. And if I'm not mistaken, there is another employment opportunity, this one in the utilities department, at the Hammonton Wastewater Treatment Plant, 45 Pleasant Mills Road, Hammonton. And this is for a full-time position to work on the direction of the municipal utilities superintendent. Duties include, but are not limited to, a full array of manual labor activities as needed by the Water and Sewer Department to maintain operations, including repairs and conducting preventative maintenance. This role requires the operation of various equipment, specialized tools, and machinery, as well as tasks involving lifting and digging. And there may be occasions when extended hours or night shifts in adverse weather conditions are necessary.
Yeah, sewer emergencies don't have a timetable.
No, that's for sure,
they
because
don't.
we've all seen mains blow at 3 o'clock in the morning, so that does come with the territory. The ideal candidate will also have a high school diploma or GED, valid NJ driver's license, demonstrate strong communication and organization skills, and have the ability to work effectively as part of a team. Much of the work experience will be taught on site during regular work hours, with opportunities for expanded responsibilities and growth in the field of water and wastewater treatment. Possession of or the ability to obtain a T1 and W1 New Jersey water operator license is a plus, but not mandatory. Annual salary for this 40-hour workweek position is $50,700 and includes single coverage benefits, medical, dental, and vision, participation in state pension, and paid time off. Work hours are Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. Interested candidates can apply the same way, send a cover letter, resume, and complete an employment application, which is located at townofhammonton.org/employment, to townclerk@townofhammonton.org, or they can apply in person at Hammonton Town Hall, 3rd floor. Now, the application deadline for this is the end of day Friday, May 1st, and that is the same for the other one. So you have until this Friday to apply for the job.
Hey, it's a great place to work, town of Hammonton. If you live in the area, it's a good commute and good teams, both departments. So that would be a good place to work.
Absolutely.
Yeah, really, I encourage everyone who wants to apply to get those applications in quickly. Coming right up. It's coming right up.
Yeah.
And we have some cleanup days coming.
Yes, we do. We absolutely have cleanup days coming because spring is definitely here, and with it comes, of course, spring cleaning. This Saturday, 2 municipalities are inviting residents and visitors to get in on the action. From 8 a.m. to noon, Egg Harbor City is holding its citywide cleanup. Volunteers are asked to register at JIAMS208 at Comcast.net or call 609-457-8092. Check-in is at the Egg Harbor City Firehouse, 500 London Avenue, between 8 and 8:30, where volunteers can pick up gloves, bags, grabbers, and a free ACUA t-shirt. Then, at 11 a.m., there's going to be a community barbecue at Egg Harbor City Lake, where volunteers can return their grabbers to be entered into a contest to win gift cards. And the best part for students? 6 hours of community service hours are available for participating.
That's great.
Also on May 2nd, from 9 a.m. to noon, volunteers can also choose to participate in Winslow Township's Litter Cleanup Day. The meeting location for bags and grabbers would be the Winslow Center Shopping Center, located at 510 Williamstown Road in Sicklerville. For more information, you can call Committeewoman Lee at 856-905-1141. Then, next week on May 9th, Main Street Hammonton will be holding its annual Downtown Cleanup and Flower Planting Day beginning at 9 a.m. Volunteers are asked to meet at the historic train station by 8:45 a.m. to register. Participants are asked to wear comfortable clothes that can get dirty, as well as sturdy shoes that are suitable for the outdoors. The event will continue until approximately noon, and a community service hour form will be available.
These are nice. It's a good thing. Planting flowers, cleaning up the town. I love it.
Yeah.
Not
I
that I'm
just
going to
think
be out there, but it's a good idea.
it just gets it's nice to get people involved in direct revitalization efforts. I think it connects people with the community at large. It's great.
Yeah, absolutely. And as I'm sure we will get into later in the interview, considering how challenging volunteerism can be, the fact that people come out every year for these and volunteer and have a good time, I think it speaks to the love of community.
Absolutely, I think you're absolutely right with that, and it shows how much people are in love with their town and want to help out, whether it's in Hammonton or any community.
Yeah, and for the students, the community service hours certainly don't hurt. That's for sure.
No, sure doesn't.
Now we've talked about cleanup days. How about scams? Are they going to clean you out for some cash?
I hope not. They're trying different ways, and the Atlantic County Prosecutor's Office is alerting residents to a widespread text message scam, falsely claiming to be from the New Jersey Motor Vehicle Commission, MVC. The message threatens enforcement action over alleged unpaid toll debt and directs recipients to click a suspicious link. This message, the prosecutor's office cautions, is fraudulent and not affiliated with the MVC or any legitimate government agency. The scam text attempts to create urgency by warning of license suspension, registration blocks, civil penalties, and collection activity unless immediate payment is made. It includes a deceptive link designed to appear official, but instead directs users to a malicious website intended to steal personal and financial information. So residents are advised to take the following precautions. Do not click on any links contained in unsolicited or suspicious text messages. Do not provide personal, financial, or identifying information. Delete the message immediately. Verify any claims through the official MVC website or contacting the agency through known legitimate channels, and report the scam to local law enforcement or the Federal Trade Commission at reportfraud.ftc.gov. And for any additional information or to report a scam, contact the Atlantic County Prosecutor's Office at 609 909 7800. I've heard of things like this before, but the warning is out there that they're really trying hard to get in people's wallets with this.
Yeah, I got
Yeah.
2 MVC ones over the weekend.
I haven't gotten any, but I'm sorry. Longtime Jersey residents should know that the MVC is not this polite. They're not this kind. They will send one letter and then they'll just suspend your license. They're not going to give you any warning about it. They're just like, all right, he didn't respond. Suspend.
That's how you should know it's a scam. That they're
Yeah.
being that polite.
Boy, this is really nice of them. Thanks, guy. Wait a minute.
Wait a
You're
minute.
like, this is something like this is Midwest behavior. We don't do that in Jersey.
That's
This
right.
is like some Canadian nonsense.
Yeah. No, just be careful and read closely. And if you can't read the fine print on your phone, either make the settings bigger or go to Hamilton Family Eye Care for your glasses.
That's right, Gina. See Hammonton Family Eye Care for routine and medical eye care for all ages, from glasses to contacts to eye exams and more. Visit Hammonton Family Eye Care at Peachtree Plaza, 80 South Whitehorse Pike in Hammonton. Call 609-567-7479 or go to hammontonfamilyeyecare.com.
Welcome back to the Jersey Oddcast. We are very excited to have with us Winslow Township Fire Chief Marc Rigberg. Chief, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you.
It's good to be here. Thank you, and thank you for having us to talk about some important topics.
Can you just give our listeners a little bit of an overview of your experience with the Winslow Township Fire Department?
Absolutely. I've been involved with the fire department for over 32 years. I was blessed to be a volunteer for about 15 of those years. I was able to have a dream come true, get hired approximately 2006 as one of the first career firefighters in Winslow Township. And over the years, have grown with the department, have grown professionally, and personally, and have attained the rank of fire chief, going through various testing processes, education, and so forth. And very proud of our organization, the trials that it's been through, and the successes we've had, and love representing Winslow Township.
Chief, what got you into the fire service in the first place? And at what point did this go from just like something to do to who you are?
So I would say I've always been in love with the fire service since I was a little boy. I think that's, if you ask most firefighters, that's the commonality. I grew up in Philadelphia. I'm a transplant to New Jersey. When my parents said, "You're done school now, we're moving, you could stay and find your own path in life, or you can come with us." Obviously, at a younger age of 18, you're not really sure on your path. Came
Right.
with them, but we lived up the street from a firehouse, and you saw them every day. You visited quite frequently as a child in the neighborhood in Philly, and always loved it. Came to New Jersey, didn't find my path right away. Never knew there was such a thing called a volunteer firefighter growing up in a big city like Philadelphia.
Right.
So I joined the Air Force, did some active duty time, came back, joined the Air National Guard out of Atlantic City Airport, the 177th Fighter Wing.
Right.
Then learned there was a volunteer fire department, and that's where my path took me. And again, things happen for reasons. And I was a volunteer for many years, fell in love with it even more, and wanted to do it as an everyday, this is my life kind of thing, raised my family around it, and was fortunate for that to happen in 2006.
Great. Now, is 2006, had they had paid full-time career firefighters before that, or was that when Winslow started with paid?
That was basically when we started with paid from an
Okay.
operational point of view. Prior to that, we had a paid fire marshal and a paid fire inspector in the department, but no quote-unquote suppression staff other than our volunteers.
Okay. That's great. Then you were one of the trailblazers with that.
You could say that, yes.
Yeah. What was the department like back then, 10, 15 years ago, as opposed to now?
So we'll go back even further. When I first started, which was about 1991, when I joined, we were 7 stations. At one time, there were 9 in Winslow Township. And I would say the average was probably about 140 members, volunteer members of the fire department at that time. You had from the old guy that had already served 40, 50 years down to the new kids like me at the time that came in. The stations were healthy. The town, size-wise, was obviously the same, but the call volume was significantly less. And over time, between social economic needs, training requirements, people's lives changing, kids' lives changing with sports and things like that, it took its toll over 30 years in our community, at least. So now we're at a point where we have about 35 paid firefighters, and I'll say we probably have 20 volunteer firefighters on the books, but there's probably really 6 to 8 active right now in our town. And again,
wow,
that's how much time do you have kind of thing, because that's
Yeah.
such a conversation on its own.
Oh, sure.
And all communities are different also. Our community, we do over 2,000 calls for service a year from the fire department perspective. When I first joined, we were probably 350 to 400 calls of service out of the Sicklerville station, at least where I was a volunteer.
So, if I understand, the number of calls has increased and the number of the staff size has greatly diminished. You've gone from, I think you said like 140 down to, if my math is right, 36.
So 140 volunteers when I came in.
Right.
Again, we have 36 paid firefighters and around 10, we'll say, volunteer that are
That's-
active. It's a significant decrease. So if you really, again, look at the studies, Pennsylvania is down about 60% from where they were 2 decades ago. It's a national trend. It's not a good trend, obviously. The volunteer fire service is certainly the backbone of most communities. There's a price attached to paid firefighters. It's the risk versus gain. There's the guarantee of a crew always coming versus what does it cost you. And like I said, there's so many dynamics to why this is today. And it's going to get worse than it is today, just like it's worse today than it was 10 years ago, because there's a population wave that's evidently sweeping South Jersey now as North Jersey's built out, Philadelphia. There's open land here that's disappearing quickly. Again, those all have their reasons, and ours isn't necessarily to question why from our perspective, but it's how do we protect that community? And you're starting to watch more and more communities in South Jersey, Camden County, et cetera, go from this volunteer, 100% volunteer entity to a combination entity of paid and volunteer to all career firefighters.
Right.
And now joining us and Chief Rigberg is Assistant Secretary and Assistant Treasurer Anthony Sirolli. Thanks for joining us today, Anthony.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Can you tell us a little bit about how you became involved with the Winslow Township Fire Department?
Yeah, when I was 16 years old, I joined the Elm Volunteer Fire Company. At that time, my brother had belonged to the fire department, and my father was a member, contributing member, and it was the right thing to do back then. We would hang out at the firehouse on Tuesday nights, and about 15, 20 guys, we would hang out at the firehouse, and that was the thing to do back then. Unfortunately, it didn't last very long because when I joined, there was 9 fire stations in Winslow Township. But like the chief had said, just seeing a decrease in the volunteers was just horrible to see and watch. But when I joined the fire company, we handled about 40 calls a year. And we were extremely slow, obviously. We had a small area with a lot of farmland, but we had a lot of members. I remember going to a call at 2 o'clock in the morning, and there was 20 guys at the firehouse. It was just crazy how we went from 20 guys at the firehouse to nobody. It was just sad to watch in front of me, especially when we had to close that firehouse. It was just sad to watch. But it's a thing.
Yeah, it's a staple of this is the one on the White Horse Pike you're talking about, the Elm.
Yeah, that's where I live. I live a block away. On some days when I'd go to the firehouse, I'll be in a block away. I was like the third or fourth person there. The Thomasells were involved, and we had so many people that were closer than me. And I got to the firehouse, and I barely got on a truck because it was so many people were there.
Wow.
I just never thought it would ever happen like that.
Sure.
No, that is completely understandable. We're going to just pause here for a moment and welcome one of our sponsors, Master Wire.
Absolutely, because for more than 40 years, Master Wire Manufacturing Fence Company has been providing the South Jersey and tri-state area with residential and commercial fence supplies and services. Whether you're looking for quality products to do it yourself or are in need of a trustworthy fencing company to install your fence, they've got you covered. Master Wire Manufacturing Fence Company provides the highest quality products and customer service to each and every person who walks through their doors or gives them a call. Contact Master Wire at 609-567-1616 or visit their website at masterwirefence.net.
And just up the street in Hammonton from the Elm Firehouse, of course, is the Silver Coin Diner.
That's right, Gina. Located in the heart of South Jersey between Philadelphia and Atlantic City, the Silver Coin Diner is a family-owned restaurant that has served South Jersey since 1982. It gleams like a 50s diner on the outside and is warm and inviting on the inside. The Silver Coin is famous for serving quality food at family-friendly prices. This rock star of a diner is on the cutting edge of restaurant trends, constantly updating its menu and introducing new healthy specials. Everyone at the Silver Coin is eager to please, so if you are in the area or passing through, stop in their location at 20 South White Horse Pike in Hammonton and let them treat you like family. Contact the Silver Coin Diner at 609-561-6974 or visit their website at silvercoindiner.net.
Thanks, Gabe. And I think, Gabe, you had a couple questions for the chief and the assistant treasurer.
I do. I guess we've talked about the structure of the volunteer and the career firefighters. When a call comes in, how do those pieces come together in real time? The volunteer people and is it a seamless thing at this point, or you just talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, we follow there's a chain of command like other paramilitary organizations. I'm the chief. Underneath me are deputy chiefs, battalion chiefs, captains, and lieutenants. There's officers of career and volunteer in our organization. They carry the same weight. A volunteer captain and a career captain are the same. They have the same responsibilities just about, things like that. So years ago, the call for service got dispatched and the career staff would be like, quote unquote, the ghost, if you will. They would go to the call because that's what they're paid to do. But our dispatch was pretty much the same. It went around the volunteer stations. If we got a house fire, the entire Winslow Township district, along with some external mutual aid companies, would respond to the house fire. If it was more of an incidental call, the local fire company, such as Elm as an example, would move or be dispatched, and the career staff would shadow that and handle the call. If the volunteers got out and handled the call, the career staff would be recalled and go back to station, or they would continue and handle the call or assist the call. Looking at the call volume increase, one of the things that we did that is a burnout to the volunteer side is the incidental calls. wires, a highway hazard following an accident that wasn't a significant call, alarm systems, things like that. So what we did was, starting last year, was we didn't necessarily dispatch them for the call. Their pagers wouldn't go off, but we would just send the career staff in for those incidentals. So the call volume is split 50%. 50% the volunteers are not in our community dispatched to not burn them out over 2,000 calls.
Right.
And then the more significant calls, they are dispatched to. And again, when we arrive on location, orders are given, they know their assignments, and they follow through the assignments, no different than the career firefighting staff. Certifications are the same. Training levels, with the exception of urban search and rescue type of training that we're part of, are all the same, with the exception of that one category.
Okay. Thank you. And I wanted to ask both of you, just to throw that out there this as a question, what are you both most proud of, going back to, we were talking about the evolution of the department, in terms of how the department has evolved and become the department that it is today? So I'll throw that out to both of you separately.
Yeah, Commissioner.
Yeah, thanks, Chief. I guess to see where it came from, Gabe, in the beginning, when, like I said, we had 9 stations, and unfortunately we had to close some stations down because lack of manpower, and now we're down to basically 3 staff facilities, either volunteer or career. It was heartbreaking to watch that, but we had to put a plan together. The residents deserve a service. The 911 caller obviously deserves somebody to come out to the residents, whatever time of need it is. And we had to put a plan together. And watching the township grow in front of us really made us put a plan together very quickly. But we all know a plan costs money.
Yeah.
This plan costs a lot of money, right? But we had no choice because we seen the depletion of the volunteers. So we had to hire career staff. So we hired a career staff, and we staffed our Sicklerville station first. It was the busiest firehouse in the town at that time. And then I had got off the board, came back on the board, and I was determined to hire another staff crew, and we put it in the Waterford station on Southern Avenue for the lower end, because the lower end wasn't getting the service they deserved. So we had to staff another firehouse. So now we have 2 staff facilities. But like I said, our budget's probably approaching $9 million, around the $9 million mark. We've been very fortunate, that I'm proud of, and I know the chief is also proud, and each commissioner is, that we've probably received over $5 million in grant money.
That's great.
We've worked very hard with our elected officials, not only through the state, but the county and local, to get a lot of money. We've received a lot of money. We work very hard. We're always on their back about it. But we have challenges. There's a lot of challenges at Winslow because of the growth. The growth is, we're continuing to build. Our population's continuing to go up. And so that challenges us because now we have more calls. Like the chief said, we handle over 2,000 calls a year. Some days our career staff are handling 10, 12 calls at a time through the 24-hour period. They're busy.
Yeah.
But like I said, it came with a price tag.
Have the types of calls changed over the years?
Good, Chief.
Yeah, they have, in a variety of means. So again, when I was first starting out, alarm systems, carbon monoxide weren't more commonplace at the time. Now, so we go to carbon monoxide calls, more gas leaks as some of the infrastructure kind of gets older. We don't think of our communities as older communities at times, but the infrastructure there, from even when I showed up, 50, 60 years old in some areas, and obviously even older than that in some other areas. So those older developments are now starting to show their age. And again, Winslow, every community is different. In Winslow, we are now supportive of emergency medical services a little bit more, because as much as we think our call volume is high, theirs is about 6,000 to 7,000 runs. So when the basic life support units are tied up in our town, we're now going on the life threats because all of our career firefighters are certified EMTs. So at least we're getting care, non-transport care, but we're getting care there early while we're waiting for either that BLS unit to return from the hospital or a mutual aid BLS unit to get there. So that's a portion of it, the complexity of the type of calls. Like I said, a carbon monoxide call, you have to understand and how to read our multi-gas meters to make sure you're leaving that family in a safe situation. The vehicles that we come across in accidents today are a lot more, obviously, technically complicated than they were 30 years ago. The hybrid vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And some of the fuels that are out there now are much more complex. So yeah, there are changes. So the firefighter today has to be more educated than the firefighter 20 years ago, as that firefighter had to be more educated than the one 20 years prior to that. So it's a constant evolution.
And where are you guys doing that education? Like, where is that?
So
Is that
we're
on the
very
job or?
a little bit of everything. So we're very fortunate. We have a good training center, if you will, on our headquarters station. We bring props in that we don't have. One of the grants that the commissioner spoke about was a grant through the legislative Ford district legislators, and we got an $80,000 basically a shipping container, but it's a pre-established prop that you could do 12 different evolutions through that. So there's a lot of training inside and outside that we could do in Winslow Township. We do take the use of facilities through Winslow Township. Kellogg's allows us to do confined space training because, again, we're part of the Camden County Urban Search and Rescue. Johns Manville lets us do some rope training there. We have a great relationship with a lot of the commercial entities in the community. We can do that. And then, of course, there's the away games going to the Camden County Fire Academy. And again, our career and volunteers can go there for classes. We pay for all the training. We also are a recognized training center through the Division of Fire. We have our own level 1 and level 2 instructors in Winslow Township, so we host a good amount of programs through that as well.
Okay. All right. The increased amount of certifications and training over the years, has that been identified as a possible factor in the diminishment of volunteer firefighters? Because I know volunteerism is down all over the country for various reasons. I didn't know if there were some people who were like, I'm going to go fight fires, and then I've got to train and learn how to do what now?
Yeah. So 100%. It's like I said, it's like you have to look at baking a cake, right? So there's a lot of ingredients that go into the final product. It's no different than this. So training is a part of it that, as the fire chief and somebody who loves training, and I myself teach at the fire academy as well, will tell you that even as a career paid firefighter who does this for a living, finds it challenging to keep up with all the certifications I have to make. So now you add that to somebody who doesn't do it for a living, goes somewhere else for 40, 60 hours to earn a living, running your children to soccer, or maybe you're home and your spouse works 3 to 11 or something like that. So I argue it both ways. The training is beyond needed because of the examples I cited earlier, but that's hours on the clock. And that's not even the training to be a firefighter. So like the insurance companies are now actually heavily involved in stuff. So we have computers, we have IT. So we have to take cybersecurity training. That I could sit there and say it's a 90-minute program you get to do, and you get to do it whenever you want because it's all computer based. Yeah. But it's another 90 minutes, and you have to take this. Yeah. We have juniors, or if you have an Explorer program, you have to take youth protection training. There's more hours that are not necessarily technically fire-based training. The state of New Jersey, the federal government, requires certain levels of training, and New Jersey is moving to a more National Fire Protection Agency level because when you get sued, that's where attorneys point to National Fire Protection as the standard. So now you have to have training levels to that. When I first joined the fire department, I want to say my Fire 1 experience was a couple weekends totaling 72 hours. Firefighter 1 alone right now is about 188 hours. And now Firefighter 2 is also a requirement. So that's another 72 hours. So basically, most academies will run from January to May, parts of June, every other weekend. And at that, it's even maybe some additional Saturdays or maybe a couple of extra Tuesdays just to make the hours. So you're talking somebody giving the initial, and that's only the initial commitment of almost 6 months. And again, it depends on your livelihood, your children activities, family, all that other stuff.
So on that point, Chief, how do you keep them engaged and coming back once you do get the volunteers there?
So that is the struggle here, there, and everywhere. We've been very fortunate. The commissioner's been part of it. We've offered great incentives because we were fortunate in Winslow Township. So our volunteers have always gotten a per call stipend that has evolved over the years. That's a monetary item. A training stipend that has evolved over the years. We pay for all training, uniforms, gear, all that stuff. We've tried to make it as available. The commissioner said it used to be Monday or Tuesday nights for the fire department drill. As we saw the impacts, we were offering drills 3 or 4 times a week with our career staff. So if somebody couldn't make it Tuesday, maybe they could make it Thursday night or Saturday morning. We would try to do all that. But still, it's like you're always taking on water with this because of not just that reason,
Fair.
but other reasons. We also have it's called Length of Service Awards Program. You can consider it a retirement plan for volunteers. We provide the state maximum. They can't contribute money to it, but we do. I think roughly that's $2,000 a year at its current height. That goes into this, again, benefit program. When we run our duty crew program, which is our volunteers staffing one of the firehouses, they get a duty crew stipend for the 6 hours that they'll be in there. And we've been, I'll say, a trailblazer in some of those programs compared to a lot of communities around us. Again, our need is maybe different than the need of Stratford or Hammonton or other things because of the size and scope of our town.
Sure.
But every incentive we've tried to put out there, it's still the national impact of the volunteer fire service.
Okay.
Yeah, at some point, I think the chief's right. We budgeted about $350,000 a year for volunteer incentives. About 20 years ago, we went to a duty crew program. From the volunteer, we tried the duty crew program to staff in-house crews. And it worked very well. It saved, obviously, the taxpayers a lot of money because we didn't have to pay people. We gave them incentives, whether we gave them $75 or $80 a night to stay in the firehouse. And we staffed duty crews with no problems at all. But then through time, it started to catch up to us. And we got like I said, we probably got almost 20 years out of it. We got a long time out of it. And it worked. It was very successful. Like I said, it was cost savings to the taxpayers. But then that fell through because, once again, like Joe said, the training and every other thing, the demands wasn't there. And we're a believer of our career staff, our volunteer staff. The chief will tell you, we're at every function in Winslow Township. We probably attend 4 to 5 functions a week, and on weekends. We do not miss anything. If the township's having a function, you could better believe there's an engine there with a crew. Whether it's in the morning, whether it's in the afternoon, evenings, weekends, we're there.
And Winslow Township is big. It's not a small township. You guys are spread out.
Yeah, you've got a lot of acres. Wow.
Yeah, 43,000, 44,000 people, because we believe in that we want our image out to the public. And the chief always says that we don't want them seeing a fireman on their worst day. We want to try to get out and prevent fires and stuff like that. But we're out there educating all the time. Like the first day back to school, we have pieces out at the school. They're high-fiving the kids. That's what we're believing. And it's paid dividends, we believe, because we went out for a bond, our second bond we went out for in the last couple of years. The last one was 2 years ago. It was $6 million. And it passed overwhelmingly. The residents passed it overwhelmingly and we had a solid plan together. We're going to renovate firehouses. We have to purchase a new squad. It's going to cost us about $1.6 million. And the rest of the money is going to go in our facilities that need work. Most of them are old schoolhouses, old firehouses that we're trying to renovate and save money instead of building new firehouses. We're taking the old ones and we're going to renovate them.
Okay.
And put the money in like that. And like I said, the residents of Winslow have supported us. We can't thank them enough but we're out there and they know that. We are out and about. We do Santa Claus at Christmas time. We're out for 30 days, which our residents receive that. We're very resident friendly. We want to be that way. If somebody needs a smoke detector, we're coming out to your house. We're installing it at no cost to the taxpayer.
Wow.
So we try to be that community fire department, because I think that's where things have changed today. We're not in the firehouse waiting for the fire to go off, for the call to come in.
No, you sounds like you're much more proactive. Definitely.
Yeah, Gabe, exactly. We try to be, because I think that's the environment we live in today. I think the police department has used that model, and we followed right with them and said, we want to be out there. We have the people, we have the staff. We're going to go out in the public's eyes, and whatever they need, we're going to support. But like I said, it's challenging sometimes because, like I said, it's the growth of the town is definitely playing a weight on us.
Sure, because you said 60 square miles and you've got, 3 open stations?
Yes, sir.
That has to present like a response time and a coverage challenge.
So it's obviously very concerning. Our average response time in Winslow Township total is between 8 and 9 minutes, which is, in our rural type of community, is not a bad response time. Right. Obviously, depending on where the resources are, they're not in the station all the time, like the commissioner says, waiting for the call. We definitely want to see that go down over time, again, as our responses go up. But some of the larger events, a structure fire, stuff like that, we rely also on mutual aid, just like they rely on us.
Sure.
So there's times at Pine Hill, going to a house fire in the Albion section of Winslow Township, will be there before us. There's times Gloucester Township. There's times Collins Lakes or Hammonton could be there. And you know what? That's fine.
Yeah.
Because it's about getting somebody there to solve the problem before the problem becomes worse. Or, God forbid, if there's somebody trapped, it's a better opportunity for somebody to make that rescue effectively. And that's what the bottom line is. And going back to a couple of the previous questions real quick, it's really about trust in the community. There's a lot of times in other communities or other areas that the citizenry maybe doesn't feel that connection. We want them to feel that connection to us so they can trust us to solve their problems, build those relationships. We work with the food banks. We work with other things, the schools, and very hard to have that relationship. Because you know what? Sometimes there's resources we don't have in the fire department, and we've reached out to associations in our community, and they were able to do things for us. So it's, again, that relationship. Very proud of the relationship we have with Winslow EMS, Winslow Township Police, and Winslow Township OEM. We work every major incident together, snowstorms, other type of events, public gatherings, things like that. We're seamless in what we do, and the community sees that good relationship. Don't get me wrong, we still make fun of each other because that's just the nature of emergency service.
It's what you do,
You need to have that. But I'm really proud of that. And going back to the volunteer, one other impact, again, besides the economy, the training, who's working multiple jobs, all those things, there's also two other factors. There's a lack of interest because, like you said, like, why would I want to do that? You should be paid to do that. And we've seen that in some of the social media posts when we did go for the extra staffing referendum. They're like, no, they're professionals. They should get paid. And don't get me wrong, volunteers are professionals too. And one of the other double-edged swords of the career side of things is, who do you hire? We're a civil service community. They take a New Jersey state test. It's our volunteers that are pretty much on that list for a community. Other communities are not civil service. Who are they hiring? They're hiring their volunteers because they're known entities to them. They've already interviewed them. They've already gone through the training. So it's good that you're hiring, but it's bad because you're robbing the other side of the house at the same time.
Right.
We purchased the Tandsboro fire station last year to look at down the road to plan the possibility of, Joe, to staff another firehouse.
Okay.
Once again, there's going to be a dollar amount to that. Obviously, it needs to be renovated. There probably needs a lot of work to be put into that facility, but they were trying to get rid of it at the time, and the district said it's a good investment for us. It's in a good area. The chief identifies the area as being an area that's going to need another staff engine. So we're looking at that, but we would have to go back to the taxpayers to ask for additional funding to staff it, because we don't have the money in our budget to staff it.
And equip it, right, Anthony? You'd have to, I mean, like you said,
Yes.
we'll need another engine and right. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you see the prices. I'm sure the prices of apparatus is just through the roof, and we're waiting 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, Joe, it's amazing that we're waiting 3 years for a piece of apparatus. Like, we have a squad now that's got 80,000 miles on it. So we have the money. We're getting ready probably either next month or the following month. We're going to order a new squad. I said $1.6 million. We won't stay it for 3 years. So by the time in 3 years, that squad's going to have over 100,000 miles on it, probably like 110, 115,000 miles. It's just crazy what they've done to the apparatus industry. I don't know how they get away with it. It's like robbery, what the prices they're charging. Like, we have a ladder in town. We have a tower ladder, and we looked at maybe possibly replacing it, but you're probably looking at $3 million.
Yeah,
I don't
just
know
to
that our
replace
taxpayers can afford that. Yeah. The chief's philosophy is there's tower ladders around us. Hammonton has one. Pine Hill has a ladder. Gloucester Township has them. Berlin has a ladder. We're going to use them.
Yeah.
Like I said, we're going to use our mutual aid companies. If they can save us, our taxpayers, money, that's what we're going to do.
And as the Fire Chief Jack Donio once said, it's not about the height, it's about the reach.
Exactly.
When Hammonton bought his ladder truck, and we were like, we don't have tall buildings. He said, it's not about the height, it's about the reach.
Yeah. Dennis Donio was a member of Elm Fire Company.
That's right.
Yeah, cousin Dennis was one of the few first members of Elm.
Tony Donio. Yeah.
Tony Donio, yeah. I mean, the Donios were very active in the fire service. Jack Donio and Hammonton, yeah, they were. But that's something that we lost, I think, that the generations. We lost the generations because the kids would always join. The parents would be in the fire company, then the kids would join.
Yep.
But most of the kids either go away at college, they don't come around here, or they have no interest anymore.
Yeah.
And we talk about that all the time. We have a large family in Winslow, the Passerella family. We have generation after generation. But then once that stopped, man, we seen the screech and halt. We don't get them anymore. It's just
Different
doesn't
world.
happen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
We're going to do a pause here for another one of our sponsors, Diversified Insurance.
Yes, and you should see Diversified Insurance for all your commercial and personal insurance needs. They are a value-added firm. They provide unsurpassed service, consult with you to determine your needs, and offer you a choice of insurance plans and programs. They are a value hunter who can find the best combination of coverage, service, and price. Contact them today at 609-567-7771 or visit their website at diversifiedinsuranceofnj.com.
And if you're a little hungry or need to make something for your next meal, head over to Bagley Annie's.
At Bagley Annie's Market, they always say, we treat our customers like family. With a variety of custom cut meats, farm fresh produce, delicious cheeses, and full deli and more, Bagley Annie's Market has something for everyone. They are famous for their wide variety of authentic Italian specialty products. Try their Italian bread and rolls, prepared foods, and homemade pasta. Follow their social media for weekly loyalty reward promos. Bagley Annie's Market is located at 417 12th Street in Hammonton. Call 609-561-0693 or visit Facebook and Instagram for more information.
Let's talk about the budget. How does that process begin? How aligned are you with the Winslow Township government? How does that play into it? Like, how do you keep all those things going and still fight fires and deal with all the emergency issues?
So we're separate from Winslow Township government. We have a fire district that's a separate taxation on your tax bill.
Okay.
And we have our own budget. Before the fire district budgets were voted on in February. We have since changed that to a November voting. But if we don't exceed the 2% cap, our budget is automatically approved by the state local finance board. They review our budget, they go through it. We have a question and answer session back and forth. And that's the way our budget's approved through the government. We have a business administrator at the fire district that works very closely with our chief. And we have administrative staff in the office that handle the budget, the POs, and the finances in the district. Obviously, that plays a big part. Probably about June, the chief and his staff and the business administrator sit down and they put a budget together. They'll present it to the Board of Fire Commissioners. The Board of Fire Commissioners will look at it, review it, make sure and they'll give us justification. If they want to raise a line item, why do you want to raise it? What is your justification? What equipment are you going to need for the following year? So we go through that, and then we approve the budget in one of our commission meetings. Like I said, then it goes to local finance board. Then they have to look at it, and they approve it. It goes to our auditors. I could say that I've been a commissioner. I think I'm on my 12th term now. So I think the end of my term, I'll be there 36 years. In 36 years, we've had no findings in any of our audits at the fire district. We do a phenomenal job.
That's very impressive.
Yeah.
We do a great job. We're on top of it. But over the years, like I said, the chief and the business administrator, they're over top of the budget every day. The commissioners really don't have any involvement on the day-to-day operation. We have a phenomenal chief. We have a phenomenal business administrator that do a phenomenal job. We are very fortunate that our input is very limited. That we're basically elected officials that just oversee the budget, make sure things are going okay, attend a meeting once a month. But when it comes to the township, we're totally separate from them. We have a great working relationship with the township, our elected officials and the mayor. We work very closely with them, but we're a separate entity on the tax bill every year that our taxpayers pay just for fire tax.
That's fascinating. Yeah, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Not every town is like that. Obviously, the town of Hammonton is not. I think Camden County has, maybe 7 or 8 fire districts in the county.
Okay.
Statewide, I'm not sure how many there was. I know, for instance, Gloucester Township, they have 6 different fire districts. Winslow Township, we just have one. We went to the fire district method. We petitioned at a residence. We just went to one fire district. It was just so much easier. And we just think it's a better bang for the buck. That's what we look at it. We're not 8 different districts or whatever. It's one, and it makes more sense that way. But the budget's challenging, obviously, every year because we have a 2% cap that we have to meet. In order to exceed the 2% cap, we have to go to the local finance board and we have to go out to our taxpayers and they have to approve that. We did that about, Chief, 4 years ago, Chief, I guess it was 5 years ago.
2023. Yep.
23, we went out to exceed the cap. And once again, our taxpayers were kind enough to approve that.
And every time you bond, you have to go out to the voters?
So yes, when we bond, we have to go to the voters in the November election. Yeah, like the school boards and I think the school boards and the townships. I know the townships for a fact, they don't have to go to the taxpayers. We do. We cannot spend a dime outside of our budget without getting taxpayers' approval.
So what is the next bond coming down the line?
Yeah, we have had some discussions. I don't know that we have a plan for that right now, Gina, because we just came off the $6 million one.
Yeah.
And we were very fortunate. So we had in 2028 and 2029, we have bonds coming off.
Okay.
So when we designed the $6 million bond, we said, listen, let's look at the least impact to our taxpayers. So the two bonds will be coming off and the new bond will be going on. So I think the average homeowner is only going to see like a $30 increase in their taxes once the two bonds come off and the new one will go on. So we tried to time it perfectly so the two come off and the one's going to go on. So that's we didn't want to have three bonds payments all at the same time.
Sure.
So we tried to be very clever with that, and we were able to accomplish that because it's obviously, we all know, right? The economy's not good. People are trying to do the best they can, and we didn't want to hit them hard with a big tax increase. So we tried to minimize that, and we did a really good job putting that together.
Yeah, and if I can add to that too. So when we go out for capital bonding and it gets approved by the taxpayers, we can hold on to that for a while. You want to shop around for the best rates. And we have a professional group of financial advisor, bond counsel that helps us with that program, along with the auditors that the commissioner mentioned. Additionally, before we're ready to execute any projects, we also have to go under the DCA, the local finance board, who really scrutinizes everything that you're going to do with regards to financing. And I'm proud to say that the 3 times that since I've been the chief in my time being involved in this stuff, we've sailed through that process. They compliment us on the way the books are managed, the way the audits come back, the way we handle our website and the information that is required to be on there. They do their research onto why we made this request. And it's almost like a hearing. You get sworn in and you justify your means to them, which a little bit ironic. That should probably be before you go out to the public and ask for it. It's the cart the horse. But it's another layer, honestly, for the citizens and the taxpayers to make sure that everything was done on the up and up. You're following contracted purchasing correctly, everything soup to nuts. So when you walk out of that and you get that stamp of approval, like, you really know you're doing the right thing. My perspective with regards to bonding, everything the commissioner said, you try to be sympathetic to the taxpayers, but we do have an organization to maintain and make sure it doesn't go backwards in our capability. We don't do things where buildings now start to deteriorate, apparatus become unreliable. We want to make sure we're putting our firefighters in the best gear and equipment possible for their safety. They want to go home to their families at the end of the day. So I would almost envision we would always have 2 bonds over a 10-year period. So when one's coming off, you're bringing up another one. So the community does see that almost hopefully flat rate. It depends on rates and all that other stuff. It might be plus or minus one way or the other. But you do want to keep that source of revenue coming in because trucks have to be replaced. We've massively reduced our footprint and our fleet, but we're to the point where we really can't go below where we are at now,
right,
equipment-wise, with staffing and all that stuff. And again, 2019, the squad that we're looking at now that won't be delivered for 3 to 4 years that we're going to replace, that was $770 at the time, $770,000. That same truck today, almost untouched in specifications, is about $1.5 million. And we can't justify it when we talk to the manufacturers because nothing's really changed in what we're putting into the truck.
Right.
Other than NFPA requirements for maybe sensors or safety devices. But how do you tell that to the public when that it's doubled in price in 5-6 years? That's the equipment we have to use. When I became the chief, a coat and pants for our structural firefighters, their equipment was about $2,300. That same stuff, we haven't changed the spec, is $4,400 today. So these are things, and some things have a service life on it. So I buy somebody a coat and pants, it's 10 years, whether it still looks brand new or it's been beaten up. It's 10 years. It has to go. Or when we get our inspections from Public Employee Occupational Safety and Health comes in, we could be fined and penalized for not being in compliance. So it's like you're squeezed on one end if you don't do something, and you're squeezed on the other end because it costs a lot of money. And unfortunately, the taxpayers take the burden of that.
Sure.
For sure. Do you guys have a memorable call that you went out on the site of a fire or accident that always sticks with you?
Commissioner?
Yeah, I don't know. I have to think about that.
For me, there's a slew of them, bad and good ones. The bad
Yeah.
ones you seem to at times relive in your mind. And again, I think anybody who's been in the fire service long enough can remember that, whether it's a burn victim, something involving a child, or a fatal accident. We run the Atlantic City Expressway. We see a large number of fatal accidents, things like that. So there's things, and I think sometimes too, it's relevant in your life. I remember a fatal accident involving a child right around the time I was younger. I was starting my family.
Yeah.
And you start thinking things hit you at certain times in life. And then there's the memorable, like that was a funny kind of call. So again, the early days, we were trying to chase down a cat for this woman in her backyard, and four of us are running around trying to grab a cat, the typical firefighter cat in a tree thing.
Thankfully, there's not an iPhone video of that.
Yeah, that was probably pre-iPhones.
Pre-iPhone.
This woman was in tears because that was her child. So it was important. And we are famous for one thing. Winslow Township has the longest running incident in the state of New Jersey with just about the most alarm responses. We had a commercial fire that was really the contents of the building, what they produced inside the building, and it was 7 days long. And it was like, it felt like you lived at that place. And
Wow.
I joke because my wife was like, how big is this, blah, blah, blah. And when I took her out there one day, I'm like, here it is. And she was even like, oh, okay. So there's like things like, in these times.
How about for you, Anthony? Anything that comes to mind?
Yeah, and we had back probably about 25 years ago, I'll never forget, we had an accident on Route 73 at the S-curves, and we were having a slew of them in the summertime on that 73 corridor for some reason. We wound up landing 4 helicopters in the middle of 73. They had the whole road closed. That was just an unbelievable bad situation. Multiple people all over the ground, and we've had some serious accidents. But one of the good ones, and actually it just happened recently, that we had a house fire over in a Sicklerville section of Winslow Township. Our battalion chief coming out of the Church Road station had a kid hanging out of a window when he got there. One of the residents was able to grab a ladder for the battalion chief because the fire apparatus wasn't there yet. They were on their way. He went up the ladder, went in and grabbed the kid out of the house. So that was a really great moment for the fire department, obviously, to recover a kid like that. Just the situation was very bad, and it could have been worse. And he in the right spot, the right time. And he received numerous awards for that, rightfully. Because like I always say, you never know the next call, right? You never know. I was a dispatcher for 37 years. I still work part-time in Hammonton. And people say you train. You could train all you want, right? Training's good. But you don't know what that next call is going to be.
Right.
You just don't. When you pick up that phone or when that pager goes off, nobody knows what it's going to be. It could be anywhere from a minor accident to a cardiac arrest to a building heavily involved. You just don't know, right? You're blindsided by it.
Yeah. Or a cat.
Or a cat.
Yeah.
So like that's
That's
yeah.
true. But
so if we were to have a competition between the Winslow Fire Department and the Winslow Police Department, which ones would the Winslow Fire Department definitely win?
As I remember from many years ago, it would not be softball. Things may have changed. They usually took us at softball. Ironically, for a charity event, it's been a few years now, but we had a peanut butter and jelly building competition for an organization that feeds the unhoused. And we smoked the police department at that. I find we got one coming up soon. I find when we do the ice cream serving at the schools for the HSAs and all, we usually perform some better scoops than they do. I think in some cases, the police department has a little bit to catch up on with us. But it's a good group. Again, we're proud of the relationship we have with them. Important. We make sure that they have access to all of our firehouses. There's always a pot of coffee on for them, a bathroom, and a place to have. Some of them, they reheat their meals while they're on shift. Some of them come in and actually have lunch or dinner with the firefighters because they know there's always a good meal in a firehouse.
That's right.
Our firefighters, and I have to agree, our firefighters, some of them, we have some phenomenal cooks in the fire department. We really do. Some of the meals they prepare is just amazing. Actually, it's weird because last night I visited the Church Road Station, the career staff, and they were having crab cakes, steak. They were having a full meal.
They were
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't.
So it's not just
As a
Firehouse
disclaimer,
Chili anymore. Yeah.
as a disclaimer, though, they provide their own meals. They pay for it. They shop. That is not taxpayer
That's not
food.
the taxpayer money.
They were.
Thank you, Chief.
But it's,
Like I
it's
said,
all
they're very
it's part of the camaraderie, isn't it, of the firehouse and
exactly.
sitting together, eating
They're there
together.
for 24 hours. Yeah.
They work 24-hour shifts. They're there many times out of a month, more times than they are with their own family and their friends and things like that. So you love the people that you're with. Sometimes you're with them a little too much, as you can be around any people, but the bonds are almost unbreakable, and you take that with you through your entire journey.
Even the holidays, like they make the best of the holidays. Like obviously, they're not off on Christmas. They're not off on Thanksgiving.
Right.
They'll cook as a group. Their families will come down. They'll try to make the best they can out of it. I know Easter, they had Easter dinner at the firehouse. I think they went to Baglanny's actually and got a lot of their prepared food. And,
Nice.
Yeah,
like
that's what they had.
That's good. We like it.
Yeah,
when
Mike Moriella. Yeah, Mike Moriella got everything together, went to Baglanny's. They prepare everything at the firehouse, and it was really great just to watch them get along. And like I said, it's amazing. Like I said, because they're there a long time. 24 hours is a long time.
Yes, it
Long
is.
day.
Yes,
a long time. Especially if they're up all night. Some nights they're up all night. They're not sleeping. It becomes very on them. It's very hard for them sometimes.
It can
If
be a
somebody
grind.
wants to get involved, yeah.
Absolutely.
If somebody wants to get involved with the fire department or learn more, what do you recommend?
So we have a very active Facebook, Winslow Township Fire Department. We have an auxiliary group, Winslow Township Fire Department Second Responders, which so if somebody can't be a firefighter, it's like an auxiliary. They do a lot of great things through the year as well if you want to contribute to the community that way. But on our Facebook, there's a ton of information. We have a website, www.winslowtwpfd.org. They can go on there and go through the different links on joining, things like that, career, volunteer. Or if not, there's the old-fashioned way, 609-561-4225. And they can ask to speak to me or make an appointment, come into our firehouse. We're very accessible. We want to be that open to the public and answer any questions. And again, sometimes we're that barrier to help somebody maybe with a landlord issue, or maybe the community can get us some information so we can stick with their issues and their needs.
And we're always looking for volunteers. We have a core of volunteers right now that do a phenomenal job, but they need help. They need help. They need bodies. We need people. We're always looking for volunteers. Stop by any firehouse. Like I said, we need them right now. We're in desperate need of more volunteers.
And if I could freelance in one area with this conversation, we don't just sit on our hands saying, oh, there's a problem with volunteers. Let's just go hire more people. Sometimes at the end of the day, that is the costly alternative that is needed because we are in emergency services, right? We don't get a second bite at the apple when and we must maintain staffing. But we have worked pretty hard and diligently, not only with our local elected officials, but there's only so much that they can do as well. We've actually been meeting with District 4 legislative members, Senator Moriarty, Assemblyman Hutchinson, and Miller. Cody Miller is actually a volunteer firefighter in Monroe Township, Williamstown.
Okay.
We met with them several times to express concerns, not just Winslow concerns, but we've also gotten some other fire chiefs together, and they were able to have a roundtable to hear some of our concerns, whether it's the 2% cap, whether it's the capital purchasing, whether it's less restrictive legislation, things like that, or incentives for volunteers that can't be done at the local level. I know they've sponsored some legislation sometimes when you're dealing with the bigger issues like the budget, and recently, obviously, there was an election. That's tough things to get co-sponsorship with, so I know they're fighting that battle. But we tried to work hard with them, and again, our relationship, expressing some of our needs and where we were a few years ago, we were able to secure a $500,000 grant for safety equipment in Winslow Township. So obviously that's a benefit to our taxpayers and helps energize the organization with newer, safer equipment, things like that. But we're trying these other means. We met with Senator Norcross at the federal level, and I don't know what the true answer is. So I know, again, Assembly Miller was doing some legislation about maybe some kind of property tax or relief for volunteers. That's great for those that exist to a point, but if you think about it, buying homes isn't like when we were buying homes 20 years ago or whatnot, right? Some people are living at home because of the economy until their 30s. So that doesn't have the impact. So we were like, maybe it could be modified where it's, I don't even know what the right number is, but let's just say it's $3,000. It could come off of school loans. It could come off of property tax. It could be just a general. But these things sometimes get some traction and they stall outside of their area.
Right.
But you're looking to incentivize and volunteerism, try and give people something to give back to them if they're going to give their time and their effort.
And again, it's got to be something of significance. Listen, I'm a veteran. I get $250 off my property taxes. I'm very thankful for that. It's something. But to sit there, I did my time. I'm done with my time in the service. But you're asking somebody to be an active volunteer. Well, $250 isn't going to cut it. That's maybe a day's worth of work at their other job or overtime or whatnot. So what's that substantial number? That's for other people to maybe figure out than me. Additionally, when we first shuttered the Cedarbrook station first and moved the volunteers out of there, and then we moved them all back to Cedarbrook, but we consolidated the other stations and closed Albion, Tandsboro, and Elm. We met with the reporters because they all swooped down. It's the big story. It made national headlines, national magazines, things like that. And of the 20 reporters that I spoke to on the topic of volunteers, I'm like, you guys need to cover this. We need help, and communities need to be aware that there is some jeopardy in communities. And don't get me wrong, some communities are very healthy. Some communities are on life support. And out of all those reporters, I was only able to get one to bite on the story. It took a year and a half, but we got a good piece that was actually on 3CBS about this impact. But even that, it goes away after a while.
Yep.
But it is the issue. Volunteerism is dwindled, and that is what the lifeblood of those other. Was that the main impetus for closing those sites, those firehouses? The lack of volunteers?
Yeah, absolutely. We were down to 2 or 3 active people in some of those stations. And from our perspective, right, it's a business at the end of the day. We're leasing the buildings we didn't own, we were leasing the space. There's the equipment that's not getting used that you have to maintain, insure, replace gear, all the things that we had talked about. It certainly wasn't meant to hurt anybody or hurt the community. But again, you really have to look at what you're financially supporting at the end of the day. And at some point, with all the incentives and everything else we tried, we weren't able to sustain that anymore. And right now, honestly, I would love, as a fire chief, and I'm sure the commission would love to have the 7 stations operating and healthy. But I feel right now we're actually in some ways a more streamlined, thinner, mean machine, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah,
makes total sense.
Yeah,
I mean, we tried to. We looked at the chief says, and he's right. This is a business. This is a $9 million business. The people look at us, and they want their money spent properly, and they want to make sure they're getting the service they're paying for. Yeah. And we have to make decisions sometimes that are not easy. Trust me. Closing a firehouse is the worst feeling in the world, because I can promise you, and the chief will tell you, we had packed houses. And we didn't want to do it. And I always said, I will never, or the board will never, or the chief will never close a firehouse. You guys are going to put us in a position to close a firehouse when either you stop coming or we don't have volunteers, because we have to provide a service.
Yeah.
It's not like we can say, okay, there's no more volunteers showing up. It doesn't work like that. I mean, sometimes they don't understand it because there's a passion, right? And we have a lot of volunteers that have a passion.
Of course,
and
yeah.
We all have passion. I sat at a meeting when we closed Elm's firehouse, and somebody was trying to say, you're closing the firehouse. I said, ma'am, I hate to be direct, but I have to be to you, and I'll explain this to you. I live less than a mile away. My father was one of the members that started this firehouse. My whole family was in there. My brothers, my father, we were all in the fire department. Do you think I want to close this firehouse down? It hurt more than anything to close a firehouse, especially the one I started at.
Sure.
But I couldn't justify leaving it open. There was no members there. An apparatus sitting in a firehouse with no members. And the people actually thought they were getting service from that firehouse, and they really wasn't, because when nobody was there, the older guys went their own way. And no, we didn't have that younger generation coming in to help anymore. Unfortunately, it was sad.
It's a different world. It really is.
And everything. I think you guys see it, like whether it's the local community
Little
leagues. You see it all over today. I see, because I belong to a couple of organizations, and it's like any other organization. You may have 50 members on the books, but have a meeting or have a work detail, and it's the same 10 guys, Joe.
Yep.
So
That's right.
it's everywhere. It's
That's
all
exactly
over.
it. Yeah.
I think we also saw that for us as Catholics. We saw that with the Catholic Church. I mean,
Exactly,
Yeah.
Gina.
there's a lot of
Absolutely.
consolidation of that. It's no one wants it. You don't want to
Yeah.
admit that's a problem, but it is, and you have to do what's best for the longevity of the fire department.
Yeah, you're right.
And on top of that, you're asking them to do something that's inherently dangerous. We learned a lot after COVID. We saw a lot of people drift away after COVID.
Yeah.
But there's other bloodborne pathogens out there. There's just hazards to begin with, and maintain all these training certifications, which, like I said, it's good to have all that. It's needed in today's world to have all that, but it comes down to time.
Yeah. Yeah, and any more people often can't afford to donate their time for something unpaid, unfortunately.
Yep.
Yeah.
We want to thank you both for your time today and for joining us on the Jersey Oddcast. We hope you come back again.
Anytime. It's definitely been a pleasure.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Absolutely. Thank you for having us. You guys
It's
have
been
a
a
great
lot
day.
of fun, guys.
Thank you. You
Thanks
too.
for coming
Absolutely.
out. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you,
Take
guys.
care. Have a good
That was a phenomenal interview
It
with
was.
Fire Chief Marc Rigberg
Mhm.
and having Anthony Sirolli, Commissioner, Assistant Treasurer, all the things. That was wonderful.
Yeah. No, that was great.
Yeah, I really
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Great to
Another
have
great
him on.
Winslow business that we had on the show is Demiglio Septic and Quality Sanitation.
Yes, and Domiglio Septic and Quality Sanitation are here for a variety of services, including septic pump out, grease trap service, high pressure jetting, portable toilets, and more. Call 609-561-3597 or go to domiglioseptic.com for Domiglio Septic, or call 609-561-4666 for quality sanitation. Experience the Domiglio difference, a promise of superior service, quality, and reliability.
Thank you. Gabe, the Rocco's Townhouse Community Calendar had a lot on it from what I read. Do you have it for us?
does. It sure does. Rocco's Townhouse prides themselves on being a spot where everyone can meet and eat. Delicious appetizers, entrees, burgers, and more, along with a full bar and plenty of craft beers on tap. Remember, everyone meets at the Townhouse, 21 North 3rd Street in Hammonton. Call them at 609-561-9384 or visit roccostownhouse.com. And the Rocco's Townhouse Community Calendar, here's to take a look at what's happening around South Jersey. It's a busy one. On Saturday, May 2nd, head over to Landisville for the 4th annual Buna Spring Festival, happening from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Kennedy and Arbor. Over 125 crafters and artisans, live music, food trucks, a car show, pony rides, and even Smokey the Bear making an appearance. Admission is just $1 for adults. Kids get in free. Also on Saturday, make your way to Medford for Music on the Porch Fest. 2 sessions this year, 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. and 6 p.m. to 9 p.m., featuring local musicians performing throughout Main Street. If you love live music and good vibes, this is your scene. And looking for something a little different, Zumba Mimosa Brunch at Tomasello Winery kicks off at 10:30 a.m. Work up a sweat, then stick around for brunch and mimosas. Not a bad way to start your Saturday. On Sunday, May 3rd, you can start your morning at Paradise Lake in Hammonton for the 12th annual ATCO Battles Alzheimer's. Live music kicks off at 11 a.m. with bands like the Amish Outlaws and more, all for a great cause. Also on Sunday, if you're feeling adventurous, check out the guided paddle on the lower Batsto River in Chemung at noon. A 4 to 5 hour trip through the pines with beautiful history, beautiful scenery, and a little history mixed in. On Saturday, May 9th, looking ahead, don't miss the Stella Farms annual Strawberry Festival in Berlin from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. It's peak strawberry season with food, vendors, family activities, and plenty of reasons to spend the day outside. That's your Rocco's Townhouse Community Calendar. If you've got an event coming up, send it our way. We'll get it on the air.
Thanks, Gabe. So it's almost Kentucky Derby time. I know nothing about horse racing, but I love watching the Derby because it's short. It's a short sporting event, so it's great. I'm here for the hats, and I would love to try a mint julep, but I think I only want to have one in Kentucky.
I've had mint juleps. They're tasty. And back when the AC racetrack was open, I used to love playing the ponies. Loved it.
Yeah, it was always fun to go down to Atlantic City Race Course, and when you were a kid, you'd see your teachers there sometimes as tellers, which was pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
They would have their little side jobs. Always enjoyed going to a horse race. I remember one night at Atlantic City Racetrack, a horse that went into the fog, almost dead last, and came out of the fog. The announcers announcing baseball scores because you can't see the race. And here comes this horse. I still remember the name, Heart on the Mend, and it came out of there and won the race. So horse
Now
racing is a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
yeah. It's funny because I remember the horse's name was the Lord Above, and I'm like, oh, I can't lose with this horse. And it was 2-1 odds to win. Like it was the handicapper's favorite. I'm like, yes, all right, I'm going to put $10 down in the Lord Above to win, place, or show. My horse came out of the gate, turned around, and ran the wrong way around the track. I'm like, that's what I get for betting on something called the Lord Above. I should have known better.
Yeah.
I think that was
Shoulda
punishment.
known
Not
better.
use the Lord's name in vain. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the Kentucky Derby is it's a really great event, and it's part of the American lore, isn't it? That's really something that's truly American. It's great.
Yeah.
So I'll be watching Saturday. It's that, and then of course we have fashion's biggest night being Tuesday, the first Tuesday in May.
The Met Gala.
I don't know. It's Taco Tuesday. What's going on? I don't like.
First Tuesday in May is the Met Gala.
Okay, will they be serving tacos at the Met Gala?
I have no idea. I don't know if they even
They
serve
might.
it.
They should.
Wearing very, very nice clothing. I don't think you want to get anything on it.
They got the money.
Maybe
They
a
can afford
saltine
dry
or
cleaning.
something.
Yeah, that's right.
Scooby-Doo is getting a live-action remake, thanks to
Yeah.
our friends over at Netflix. How do we feel?
Why?
I just feel
Why?
the
And
wheels,
There's
the
nothing
wheels
new.
have come, the wheels have come off the Mystery Machine at this point. Boy, I tell you,
yes,
it's
they
really,
have. Yes, they have. Because, like, okay, this is like a young Mystery Incorporated thing. We already did that with a pup named Scooby-Doo in cartoon like 20 or 30 years ago. I don't know why we have to kind of go back to live action for Scooby-Doo. And I got to be honest with you, when I saw McKenna Grace, I would have bet money that she was playing Velma, but she's playing Daphne, which is surprising.
I don't know who that
is
is.
surprising.
McKenna Grace was Phoebe in the 2 most recent Ghostbusters films, Egon Spengler's granddaughter.
Okay, yeah. I didn't know her name, but yeah.
Yeah. So I was a little,
Playing against
surprised by that. And she was in Haunting of Hill House, the series that was on
remake.
Netflix. She was one of the daughters.
I love everything Scooby-Doo, except I really was not a fan of Scrappy-Doo. I could not really stand him.
Puppy.
But you have Sarah Michelle Gellar in the live action with Freddie Prinze Jr. That was fun. Not great, but fun.
Matthew Lillard was inspired as Shaggy. There's a sentence that
was
probably
he really
never been said on
acting?
Earth.
I don't know.
He was dead on, though.
He just showed up and said his lines and walked off.
Yeah. But I like how the fact that they're telling us like the origin story.
Not everything needs an origin story.
Says the guy who's a superhero fan.
Well,
but with every
some things
single
do.
superhero, they have the origin on the first page when they introduce the character, and that's it. Like, by now, everybody knows where the hell Clark Kent and Superman came from. You don't need to keep retelling it. I don't care where Mystery Incorporated came from.
Yeah, because Bruce Wayne's origins didn't haunt him, and that informs everything that he does.
Well,
and they covered that in Detective Comics 27 when he was introduced. They didn't make it up. Scooby-Doo premiered in 68, 69, so they didn't make it up 55 years later. That's been a primary part of the character. No one's cared about this. Just like the Jim Carrey version of How the Grinch Stole Christmas. No, they should have called it Why the Grinch Stole Christmas. I don't care why. He's a cranky green guy who hates Christmas. That's all I need.
You're saying you don't need to know the Grinch's motivation, is what you're saying.
No, he's cranky. He hates the singing. He wants his own Who hash. That's fine.
That's it. Yeah,
I never saw that version, so I don't want to see it.
You didn't miss anything.
I love the cartoon, and that's all I need.
Yeah. He's cranky, and then, like, his heart grows 3 sizes. He didn't have a myocardial infarction when that happened, and now he has the Christmas spirit.
Okay. Over the weekend, the movie Michael did very well. It's about Michael Jackson. It ends, I think, like in 88 before there's any of the controversial stuff comes out, which I think is part of some of the issues they had. It did very well. Are we going to see it or no? I have the CDs. I don't need to go see a movie about him.
I think it's cool that he's being played by his nephew, and I further think it's cool that his nephew's name is Jafar Jackson. That's just cool.
Like
I think,
Aladdin?
yeah, he's Jermaine's boy. And from what I understand, like he channels his uncle fantastically. Now, will I go see it in the theater? I don't know about all that. Will I watch it on streaming? Yeah, because I love Michael Jackson. I love his music. I think the man could dance like no other. When you got people like Fred Astaire saying that you are the best dancer on earth, that means something. So,
Yeah,
Favorite album?
for sure.
Thriller. Thriller. Thriller was the first
That doesn't
vinyl I
surprise
ever
me.
bought, and I still have my copy from 1983.
Awesome. And also, biopics like this, Ray, when Ray Charles, and you could say Jamie Foxx channeled Ray Charles in that. We saw that
Mm-hmm.
in the theater. I
Yeah.
I don't know that I would see this in the theater, but it's definitely, there's a lot of nostalgia for that era of Michael Jackson. I don't
Yeah,
know. There's a lot of criticism that though that sort of ends like you said in '88, but maybe that's what they felt they wanted to do. They wanted to cover the most successful era of the guy's career.
I think there were some of the articles I read said like they had to for the estate to get the usage. I don't know. It's like a whole thing.
I
So,
could see
Mm.
that. I could certainly see that. Plus,
um,
you want to give that was a massive era for the guy, and you want to give it all its due, especially like Motown 25 when he debuted the moonwalk, and the entire world just went
Yeah,
yeah.
what is
because we had
that?
no idea what we had no idea what we just saw.
Yeah, the Thriller album is so good. Yeah, I also had the album, like you said, the record. It's phenomenal, and you can't miss his impact. But you think we also recently we've had the Elton John movie come out. We've had the movie about Queen come out, like more Freddie Mercury, I should say.
Hmm.
Those are some really great performances. We had an Elvis one recently,
Hmm.
so the only one that's still alive of those is Elton John.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
it's pretty amazing. The market is strong for these type of movies, and that
Yeah,
people came out in droves to watch this film.
Yeah, because this is currently what is it the highest grossing biopic? I think I
I think so.
saw.
Oh, and there was the Springsteen one that came out too, right?
Oh, yeah, I
Yeah,
forgot
Yeah.
about that
this,
one.
but this was, that one didn't do so well. That sort of just languished at the box office. This thing's a bona fide smash hit.
Like
So
30
which
years
just
from
goes to
now on
show
this
you,
podcast, are we going to be talking about a Sabrina Carpenter one and a Taylor Swift biopic
or Swift, possible. Don't
Yeah,
know about
maybe.
Sabrina Carpenter, but
or
then again,
Harry?
she just did sing with Madonna, who's still singing.
Yeah,
Yeah. So you don't know.
no. I guess we'll find out.
So whether you're in the comfort of your home or going to see Michael in the theaters, you should always be wearing your Oddcast merch.
Oh, absolutely, you should. You'll notice that I'm currently wearing
Yep,
my shirt. I am drinking out of my mug right here.
same.
Uh, two out of
Nice, nice.
2 out of 3 ain't bad. There's
Hmm.
hats,
Odd person out.
Oh yeah,
and of course it would be you. Absolutely. So we got
I think we
t-shirts.
alternate
We
in
do.
that role.
Yeah. This week it's your turn, Gina. But
Thank
we
you.
got tumblers, magnets. We have 2 exclusive new designs for t-shirts. We still have crew neck sweatshirts, pullover hoodies, zip-up hoodies. You can find all of that and maybe more at jersey-oddcast.printify.me.
So I think we answered this question a little bit earlier, but for the odd poll question of the week, you've got 2 minutes, a betting slips, and absolutely no plan. You're placing your Kentucky Derby bet. How are you picking? Stats, the name of the horse, a lucky number, or advice from some guy you just met there? So for me, I'm going straight with the name. I want the name that calls to me.
I'd do a
Yeah,
lucky
okay.
number. I think I'd do a number.
You
You
totally
know,
would.
yeah.
You would.
Why not? Usually
I would
like
be
numbers.
I'd be
Dan
an,
and Bourbon right now, according to the Kentucky Derby website.
I'd be a mix between A and B. I would primarily be motivated by the name, but I want to see who the handicapper's pick is and what the odds are on the horse. Because sometimes I would go with a cool name that had really long odds, and sometimes that paid off.
Pavlovian, 30
Would
to
you
1
look?
odds.
Okay.
Would you look at the
I remember
jockey?
once.
Would
Oh
you
no, I
ever
wouldn't
look
care
at
about the
who was?
jockey.
No,
No.
you wouldn't, because there used to be a jockey named Pat Day, and boy, I tell you, if Pat Day was riding the horse, you wanted to bet the horse because Pat Day was that good. This is again at Atlantic City Racetrack, but he was all over the place.
Yeah.
There's
But
another
you were
horse called Incredibolt
Okay. All right.
or Right to Party. Another one called Litmus Test. Like, they're just great names. And if you're a Harry Potter
I
person,
I
there's one
I,
called Albus.
Or
I
a
would
Beastie
fight
Boys
for your
person.
right to party.
That's it. That's it. Or a Beastie Boys person.
Yeah. Absolutely.
We're a good mix as we always are, but none of us are really doing stats, is what we're saying.
Well, Joe
No.
said he'd do some stats, wouldn't you?
Yeah,
You said
mostly the name, but let stats secondary, looking at what the odds are and so forth. I remember one time there was a horse. His name was Minstrel Blues. I just thought it was a cool name. It was like 50-1 odds. So I'm like, all right, I put $2 down to win. My horse came in. He won. So I took home $100 that day. That was nice.
there you go.
No more racetrack.
I know.
No,
Once they went
it's a shame.
to simulcast, it just went downhill.
Yeah, that's not fun. Oh well.
No.
Nothing ever stays the same. I think we learned that with the Winslow Fire Department just a few minutes ago.
That's
Fair.
for sure.
Wow.
That's definitely for sure.
One thing that does stay the same, though, is the amazing service and quality from our friends at United Roll-Off.
Looking for fast, reliable dumpster service? Call United Roll-Off Service and Recycling LLC. Family owned by the Grasso family and proudly serving South Jersey since 1999. 3 generations strong, United Roll-Off is your local solution for household cleanouts, construction debris, concrete, and yard waste, with 11, 20, and 30-yard dumpsters ready when you need them. Serving Hammonton and all of Atlantic, Burlington, Camden, Cumberland, and Gloucester counties, they've got the size, service, and local touch you can trust. Visit them at 735 Wiltsey's Mill Road, Hammonton, or call 609-561-8287 to get started today. United Roll-Off, local, loyal, and ready to haul.
So for the Oddcast Odd Fad, I wanted to keep it horsey themed. And because the Kentucky Derby is this weekend. So did you know that only 2 horses bred in New Jersey have won the Kentucky Derby? Regret in 1915 and was also the first filly winner. And Cavalcade in 1934. The horse is the state animal. Who and when will be the next winner with Jersey roots?
Boy, if that ain't the most Jersey thing ever, the first horse to come in from Jersey was Regret. I love that.
Yeah, I like that.
I love that.
There's something poetic about it, for sure.
And then I know it's too early, but I have a Sinatra song, Regrets. I've had a few.
Yeah.
My way.
And then, Cavalcade, and then nothing for almost 100 years.
Oh, there's been a lot of competition. I mean, over the years.
That is a long time. I mean,
we have more horses than Kentucky.
Wow.
Like, we are a bigger horse state.
Really? I did not know
But apparently not in recent years a better one. So we may be bigger, but they have the winners. Whoever has the winners, we don't know. That would be an interesting thing to look up state by state, year by year.
We have a higher density of horses per square mile. They have more physical horses, but our density is much higher.
That makes sense. We are the most densely populated state in the union, so it logically follows.
Yeah. We have roughly 4 horses for every square mile.
It would be interesting to see where the different winners come from over the years, over the decades.
It's not New Jersey.
America will do anything to avoid the metric system. We got 4 horses per square mile. That's a weird unit of measure.
It's true. And you know what? I would love to be on the metric system, not to have this argument right now.
Here we go.
It's easier math. Just because the math is easier.
It's especially since, and this ties into the.
It's all factors of 10.
It factors into the semi.
Oh my God!
The foot, the unit of measure was based on King George's foot. So if we really want to declare independence, maybe we should let that go too. For the nation's semi-quincentennial.
That's an interesting little factoid. One that we would find that interesting. Science officer, Mr. Spock, because I'm going to do the Star Trek reference this week since you didn't do it.
Oh no, I didn't. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I got your back, Joe.
What will the weather? What will the weather be? And just please give it to me in normal temperature degrees, not European temperature degrees.
I believe the word you're looking for is Celsius, but because you asked, it sounds like it's time for the Oddcast forecast according to the app on my smartphone and sponsored by Ben Castone Landscaping. Call Ben Castone for all your landscaping needs at 609-561-3452. They're here to keep your yard looking great no matter what the season, and it's going to be a little bit on the cooler side, but not too terribly bad. Wednesday, we're looking at rain with a high of 63 and a low of 48. Thursday, we're looking for some showers in the morning and then partly cloudy later on as it goes, a high of 60 and a low of 43. And Friday, we're looking at partly to mostly cloudy, high of 63 and a low of 43. So 60s during the day, 40s at night. It's the end of April. It's close to where we should be, and we're getting some April showers in last minute. So
For some Mayflowers.
Yeah.
Appreciate everyone listening with us today. You can find us online, jerseyoddcast.com, on Spotify, on iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, wherever you stream podcasts, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Oh, and Blue Sky. And if you want to give us a call and be really old school, feel free. 609-444-6178. We'll see you not next week, but in 2 weeks. And we'll be back with more chaos, commentary, and community then, because someone's got to do it.
See you in a
Thanks,
couple
everyone.
weeks.
Bye.